With expertise, the team transformed an abandoned oil drum into a versatile and portable barbecue grill after a full day of modifications. This grill enables cooking directly inside by igniting a fire and creates a grilling effect that encourages children to eat quietly. Before commencing, locate an unused oil drum. To avert explosions during the cutting process, fill the drum partially with water. Once this is completed, position the drum horizontally, utilize a ruler to measure the cutting location, and mark it beforehand. This way, the cutting is more accurate. Once the position is determined, use a grinder for processing. After half an hour of cutting, a notch has been made on the oil drum. To make it more convenient for future use, hinges need to be welded onto the cover plate. Once connected, this will make opening and closing the grill easier. With the hinges welded, the oil drum can be cut open directly. This process doesn't take much time, and the opening for the grill has been successfully processed. At this point, Xiaolin needs to cut some materials for designing the internal structure of the grill. After cutting, the square tubes are joined into a triangle and then welded together. Once completed, it can be placed on top of the oil drum for alignment. If there are no issues, the oil drum can undergo secondary processing, starting with cleaning and polishing the surface. The next step is to place the tripod for reinforcement, then use a welding machine to weld the tripod to the bottom of the oil drum, and then install the casters on the frame, allowing the grill to move freely. With most of the external facilities of the oil drum installed, the next step is to modify the interior. Since the metal sheet of the oil drum is relatively thin, its insulation is not very strong, so the interior needs special treatment. However, after a busy morning, Xiaolin has reached lunchtime, and he is both thirsty and hungry, but he decides to take a break for a drink at the neighboring shop without affecting the grill modification work. He paused his work momentarily to grab a milk tea from the shop next door before resuming the modifications. Meanwhile, Xiaolin mixed concrete with water for the purpose of laying bricks. Bricks, which are known for their excellent insulation properties, were planned to enclose the interior. Besides backfilling the bottom with bricks and concrete, the oil drum's sides also required brickwork. This ensures that the drum's exterior won't burn anyone and helps maintain the internal temperature.
The space inside the oil drum is quite small, so...
Stacking them is relatively troublesome. However, with Xiaolin's efforts, most of it has been completed. Now at the top stage, the remaining task is to process the bricks. Only when the length is appropriate can the internal cooling be facilitated, and after cutting, the bricks can be placed. You can see that after sealing, the internal effect is quite good. With continuous accumulation, the stones have now been sealed to the bottom. At this point, the most difficult internal step has been completed, and now it's necessary to create an exhaust opening at the top of the oil drum. Once the position is determined, you can use a cutter to make a cut and remove the iron sheet on top. Insert the prepared chimney, and once it is in the correct position, pour some concrete from the top of the barrel and use a tool to level it. Then find some discarded tiles and lay them one by one on the barrel. After they harden, the cleaning effect is quite good. At this point, the chimney can be removed from the inside. The next step is to measure the internal space, then use cardboard to cut out the measured dimensions and place it inside the barrel. At this point, the chimney can be passed from the top to the bottom, and you can use the cut iron plate for modifications.
Cutting's done. Now remove rust.
After crafting a chimney cap using the iron sheet, the subsequent step is to directly weld it onto the chimney. Once this task is completed, you can position the prepared iron plate inside and fit the chimney onto the pipe sleeve situated on the iron plate. If there are no complications, remove it. Weave some wire mesh to match this size and achieve this state through self-welding. The next step is to place the welded iron mesh inside. After a day-long modification, you might consider painting it, and then it can be used directly. Although it doesn't look very impressive, its performance should be quite good. At this point, Kobayashi couldn't wait any longer, and brought the ingredients to test this multifunctional grill. As the fire inside roared, thick smoke billowed from the chimney. After half an hour of roasting, the ingredients inside were mostly cooked. Additionally, you can place many items inside for roasting. Close the door and wait for about 10 more minutes. By now, the roasted meat smelled great. After getting the sauce, the child ate quietly without a word.